The first thing you notice isn't the food. It's the silence. The dish is already in front of you. Steam rising, oils catching the light, everything arranged with a kind of precision that feels intentional. Ceremonial. Too perfect to trust. Too perfect to refuse. No one speaks. You don't need to look up to know they're watching. You feel it. The weight of it. Dozens of eyes fixed on you. Not the emperor. Not the food. You. You are the moment before certainty. You pick up the utensil. It's heavier than it should be. Or maybe your hand is just a little less steady than you want it to be. So you adjust. Slowly, on purpose. You've already learned something here. Control isn't something you feel. It's something you show. The emperor hasn't touched anything. He's watching you, waiting. You bring the food to your mouth and pause. Just long enough for everyone to notice. A decision. Then you eat. You swallow. Nothing happens. You lower the utensil. Only then does the emperor move. You weren't chosen because you were special. You were chosen because someone else is gone. You asked once. Quietly. A servant froze. A guard shifted closer. That was enough. You didn't ask again. The empty place beside you answers everything. It isn't symbolic. It isn't ceremonial. It's a vacancy. Someone sat there before you. Someone will sit there after you. They gave you a title. Imperial Taster. Pregustator. You said it out loud the first night, testing how it sounded, hoping it meant something. It didn't. Because the truth is simpler. You eat first. And if something goes wrong, you don't stop it. You define it. The system doesn't explain itself. It pushes back. You follow the food once. Not because you were told to, because you weren't. Through kitchens that never stop moving. Hands that never pause. Orders passed without hesitation. You interrupt the chain. You stop a cook. You ask a question. He doesn't answer. He looks past you to someone else. You hold his gaze for a second longer than you should. You could push it further. You don't. You step aside. That's your first compromise. Later, a supervisor finds you, not angry, not loud, just certain. You are not here to trace the path. Not a threat, a boundary. You nod, and you don't follow the food again. At the table, you start testing smaller things. You delay a bite, just a heartbeat longer. A guard shifts his stance. You catch it. Next meal, you eat immediately. Too fast. The emperor pauses longer this time. His fingers tighten slightly. You see that too. So you adjust again. Slower. Measured. You begin to understand something important. Your timing changes the room. Not completely, but enough. You don't control anything, but you're not irrelevant either. After one meal, you stay. No one tells you to leave. No one tells you to stay. You should go. You don't. Voices rise behind you. Low at first, then sharper. Names, disagreements, edges you're not supposed to hear. You keep eating. Slowly. Giving yourself a reason to still be there. That's your second compromise. You're not just hearing anymore. You're choosing to listen. And once you do, you start noticing patterns, not in the food, in people. The first collapse isn't a surprise, not entirely. A servant eats after you. You watched him earlier. You remember his hand. The slight hesitation before he lifted the bowl. You saw it. You decided it wasn't enough. He collapses. The room tightens, not chaos. Control. Eyes move. Toward you. You speak before they ask. It was clean. Your voice doesn't shake. That's your first real lie. You could have mentioned what you saw. You don't. They accept it. Not because they believe you, because they need something to accept. And now you understand. This role isn't about being right. It's about being final. After that, the choices get quieter. A missing seal. You see it. You let it pass. A tray handled twice. You see it. You let it pass. A glance between two officials. You see it. You let it pass. Each time, nothing breaks. Each time, the system holds. And each time, you feel it. You're helping it hold. The corridor isn't an accident. You take that path because you know someone will be there. And someone is. An overseer. Always present. Never important enough to notice. You've started filtering, he says. You don't answer. You see what matters. A pause. And what doesn't. He steps a little closer. Perfection breaks systems. Another pause. Continuity keeps them alive. You understand what he's offering. Not power, permission. Some things, he says, quieter now, are safer, unconfirmed. You nod. That's your third compromise. You don't agree, but you accept. The Emperor tests you. You don't realize it until it's over. A dish arrives out of order. You see it immediately. This is wrong. Everything in you reacts. You could stop it, signal, break the pattern. Instead, you continue. You eat. You make it normal. The Emperor watches you the entire time. Then he eats. Nothing happens. The room relaxes, but he doesn't. He keeps watching. And you understand. He wasn't testing the food. He was testing you. The banquet makes everything worse. More dishes, more movement, more chances for something to go wrong. You move differently now. Faster when you need to. Slower when it matters. You shape the rhythm. You decide what draws attention. You decide what disappears. The Emperor eats, the room settles. For a moment, it feels like control. Then he stops speaking. Mid-sentence. A pause. Small. Then his hand tightens. This time, you move. You step forward. You call for water, for space, for anything. Too late. His breath shortens. Voices crack the room open. Guards surge forward. You stop. You don't run. You don't speak again. You stay exactly where you are. Because now you know. Movement tells a story, and stories need someone to blame. They take you, quick, efficient, quiet. You count the turns. The steps, the doors. You make yourself remember. Because this time, you're not just being moved. You're trying to understand. They don't question you right away. They leave you alone first. Long enough for your thoughts to get louder than anything they could ask. You replay it. The dish, the delay, the substitution. You saw it. You knew something was wrong, and you let it pass. Because it didn't disrupt the flow, because it wasn't certain, because it was easier. The door opens. 3 of them. Not guards, not servants. People who decide outcomes. How did it pass you? You answer immediately. It didn't. They watch you. You saw nothing? You take a second. I saw no threat. That's your second lie. Cleaner, safer. They bring in names, one after another, faces you know. You're asked to confirm, deny, choose. Each answer shifts something, not truth. Outcome, time stretches, or maybe it collapses. You can't tell anymore until they make it clear. If you cannot identify the fault, a pause. You become it. You think about everything. The cook you didn't press. The hesitation you ignored. The dish you normalized. You already made your choice. This is just where it becomes visible. You look at the names again. You pick one. Carefully. Not innocent, not guilty, just acceptable. You say it. And that's it. There's no going back from that. They take him, clean, quiet, final. The system stabilizes. You return to the table. Same seat, same distance. The Emperor is there, alive, weaker, watching. He doesn't ask. He doesn't need to. You pick up the utensil. No adjustment this time. No hesitation. A new dish is placed in front of you. You see it immediately. A flaw, clear, obvious. You eat anyway. You swallow. You set the rhythm. The Emperor follows. Now you understand. You were never here to stop poison. You're here to decide when it matters. You're not protection. You're selection. The space between failure and explanation. The system doesn't run on truth. It runs on resolution. And you provide it. The silence returns. The eyes return. But they feel different now, not heavy, aligned. You pick up the utensil, steady, certain. You don't wonder if the food is poisoned. You've already decided whether that matters. You swallow. And this time, you taste it clearly. Not the dish, not the poison, the choice. You didn't survive this life. You shaped your place inside it. You became the part that decides what is seen, what is ignored, what is allowed to continue. You are no longer the test. You are the answer. And beside you, the empty place is still there. Not waiting, not empty, prepared.